there, cats and kittens. It's Deb Cook from Still Kitty Productions with episode 5 of the Cats Meow. This week, or month, or whatever, this episode, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing one of my really good friends, Crystal Lee Morgan. Still Kitty Productions wouldn't even be here without her. I wouldn't have a name, I wouldn't have a logo, I wouldn't have anything. But yeah, so this is someone very dear to me, and I'm just super excited that you get to meet one of my favorite people. So Crystal, why don't you say hi and tell everyone just a little bit about who you are.
Hey everyone, this is Crystal Morgan. I am a songwriter from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You might have seen me at the Arts Festival playing in groups like The Common Heart, Graceful, and Black Little Birds, which was a really fun collaboration that was totally different. You remember with Morgan?
With
that
Morgan,
was a good time.
Yep, with Morgan.
Yeah.
But you also, I mean, you're a solo artist as well.
Yeah, thanks to a lot of people in the community, I just kind of had these periods where I was in between projects, and people like Hugh with Hugh shows, people like Deb with Steel Kitty, were just like, yeah, you've played every stage in Pittsburgh, why don't you do something solo? And I've been really lucky. Like, we've had the Raw Artist Network shows, Lee Yock has been a big part of it, and it's always really fun to just do whatever feels right, just let the music come out and see what happens with it.
I totally forgot, that's right. You're another one of those people that I convinced to do the Raw Artist shows.
Yep.
We did talk a little bit about that in episode 3 with Stephanie Trushin. She's the one who got me started, and then I made other people do it.
Oh yeah, you literally walked into Club Cafe and said, get your phone out and sign up for this right now, because you're doing it. And I did. I had my smartphone out, I filled out the application, and I did not one but several of their shows, and was named the Music Artist of the Year in the category. Yeah, I made it to National, and it was amazing.
So just so you know, I know the Music Artist of the Year for that year, and I also have the Overall Artist of the Year. Stephanie Trushin,
Yep.
The first year that Raw came here, she was the Overall Artist of the Year. So I'm not messing around, guys. I only know the best people. So.
Well, you kind of recommended the best people to get involved. Is it the chicken or is it the egg?
Bacon.
There you go.
So like it's kind of funny. Like I've started to kind of look back on my life, and I realize that I interpret things one way, or I see things one way, and other people see things completely differently. For me, I feel like when I met you, like you were so good. You were just one of those people that was just so amazingly talented. And I remember whenever I started on a whim to start creating shows, we weren't friends at the time, but you were someone that I admired and I really respected. And I remember being so super scared to ask you to be in my show, and obviously thrilled whenever you said yes. But I think our friendship kind of like grew out of the fact that you wouldn't let me just be Deb Cook. Crystal was the one who told me, she's like, listen, you're a production company. And I'm like, no. You're like, nope, you're a production company. You need a name, you need a logo, and she helped me create my name. She drew my logo. Like this is not clip art. This is Crystal Morgan. And like you helped me set up my Facebook page and do and the website at the time. Currently the website is under construction. But
soon to be released.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like you were just that person who kept pushing me and never really let me be complacent in where I was at when doing music shows and stuff. And And I feel like it's just been over the last maybe 3 or 4 years where you and I really have kind of come together and share a heart and, really become really super close friends outside of music.
Right.
So I don't know, is that like the same experience for you, or was it different? Like,
I would say no. I think that's pretty similar. I grew up as a military kid, so for me, in high school even, they called me the welcoming committee. And I always loved being able to see new people in the community, like especially the Club Cafe community at that time. It was like a weekly thing for Acoustic Cafe. I would get there 3 hours early, sit outside, wait in line, fiddle around on the guitar, and you were just such a positive force. And I think this is true for women in music, women in technology. When we do all the things we do, it's so easy for us to downplay that. And it's one of those things that what you were doing was the same hustle that I saw with Gray Area Productions. It was the same hustle that I saw with a couple of the other local companies that were doing things. And I was just like, this is a production company. Like this is a female-led, caring about women in music, and really one of the first people, I think, bringing attention to the fact that almost all the shows that you see, the headliners were all men in Pittsburgh, including things like, the bigger shows.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing when you realize that all of the talented women are competing for a few spots.
Right.
And what I really loved and what inspired me to do all of that work and bring my technology expertise and my social media expertise in was, oh my gosh, we're not like sitting here fighting for those opportunities. We're just going to create new opportunities. We're going to create something completely different. We are going to network together and encourage each other. There's this thing called Queen Bee Syndrome. And it is something where women are pitted against each other to fight for those few spots.
Yes.
And instead of that, I just love this collective experience. I love building people up, whether it is technology or music or gaming, whatever it is. It's like, you are my friend. Together we are stronger.
Yes.
And I think that our friendship has shown a lot of people what's possible. It's like, I'm sorry, like, we know how to do this. We're going to automate things. We're going to get like that web presence going.
Like we got this.
Convert these like wonderful, amazing people in Pittsburgh who are like, look how many people go to a Penn team.
Yeah.
But that's because like they know about it and they love it and they grow up with it. And I think that prior to COVID, there was really this huge build in the music scene. And I think that the people of Pittsburgh were really starting to understand what valuable resources we have with the types of theaters, the types of shows that you can attend. Like YEP does a pretty great job of bringing in some awesome artists, but like the people that are here right now are insane. They're insane. Like my old roommate Zoob.
Yeah.
Zoob is awesome.
He's amazing.
Like from New York City, Morgan Arena also from New York City. Like there are people here right now that would knock your socks off if you were like seeing them on tour in any other city. And it's just like they live here.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're active, they're creating, and I've had a few friends that as soon as they leave, they hit major success.
Like Ariana did.
Yeah, exactly. Like she went out to LA and picked up a couple of those road gigs with really top performing artists. She played the Victoria's Secret fashion show with Nick Jonas.
Yeah. She performed with Nick Jonas, the Black Eyed Peas, some other people too.
I honestly can't keep track of that sort of stuff. But it is amazing. Like I think that, and her project Velvet Heat.
Oh my gosh, Jessica, I love that.
I love that project. And like, yes, she filled Club Cafe.
Yeah. But
like, she is of this national, international level of talent. And it's just an example of what Pittsburgh has here in its women community in music. It's not just like, oh, well, we should include women because it's nice. You have access to this incredible amount of talent. Like, please use it.
Yes. I think that was the biggest thing that I noticed very early on when I was starting to do shows, is that it's so easy to find 20 mediocre guy bands.
All of them covering like "Falling" by the Beatles.
Right. You know, like Wagon Wheel and but my eyes were opened very quickly to just how amazing, like, we just have so many amazing female artists here in Pittsburgh that don't get nearly the credit that they deserve, nearly the time that they deserve. And so, I mean, that was a thing that, was a big passion in my heart. And also Liz Berlin. Like,
oh my, Liz actually is one of the people that I admire so much.
Yes.
I look up to. She's given me so many opportunities. So if you're watching, thank you, Liz. I acknowledge you. I love you. And when I think about what Steel Kitty does and what you've done with Liz, I even think back to a few of my favorite things.
yes.
Because, like, and we'll talk about Courageous Conversations. I don't think you can talk to me anymore without talking about Courageous Conversations. It's a shout out to Soleil, because that is her word, Courageous Conversations. You were one of the first organizers for all of the shows that I've played to have a woman of color on the bill headlining. Like, because we were all co-headlining together.
Yeah.
With Jasmine, who I love and adore.
I didn't even, I didn't even think of it in those terms. I thought that you were just going to say I was the first person to, do a female show without it being a female show.
Right.
But yeah, the first show that I ever put together was called A Few of My Favorite Things.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached out to 5 women who I admired and respected. And like I said, at the time, scared to death, because I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't. And I reached out to 5 amazing women, and they all said yes. Not only did they all say yes, they were all available on the same day.
I know, that's crazy.
And if you've ever done a show or put together a show or worked on a show, you know that doesn't happen, like, ever.
No.
To this day, it has never happened again. But yeah, like, for me, I saw a story, right, in the women that I chose, and that was you and Morgan Arena and Joanna Lowe as a spoken word artist who went in between the artist, and then Jasmine Tate who lived here in Pittsburgh for, well, like Grove City area, but Pittsburgh
for a short time,
for a couple years, and who has now moved to Texas.
Yeah, she's in Dallas, I believe.
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
Yep, she's in Fort Worth, Texas.
There's a slash in the airport. Close enough.
And then I brought in a lady from Columbus, Ohio, named Kelly Zullo, who I had met her maybe one other time before. I saw her at a show, and she just blew my mind to the point where I was talking to someone, and when she started to play, I basically shut him up and turned around and watched her fingers. Like, that's how good.
She's so crazy.
Like,
yeah,
that's how
amazing.
good Kelly Zullo was. And I just saw a story in my head. And it was a Tuesday.
Yep.
And we had 5 females on the bill. And it was in the South Side. It was at Acoustic Cafe. Or not Acoustic Cafe. Club Cafe. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And we sold it out. It was so packed that Liz Berlin from Rusted Root, she was sitting on the floor watching the show, which was absolutely mind-boggling.
Didn't make me nervous at all.
No, Liz, you don't make us nervous.
It was amazing, but it was like
terrifying at the same time.
That was probably like the 3rd or 4th show that I accompanied myself. Like, I played myself, and I had arranged a version of A Few of My Favorite Things with the ukulele, but it does not sound anything like the way you think it would. I wrote it specifically and arranged it specifically for Deb, so it had to be original. And it is posted on my SoundCloud. We'll put the links
Oh, we'll put up all the links.
We'll put up
to
all the links so you
social
can find
medias.
it. But that was a special gift for Deb.
Yes, and yeah, and that kind of just it took off kind of from there. But the crazy thing about actually Liz Berlin being there was a couple weeks prior to the event. She happened to be in town. She was not touring at the
Right.
And so she happened to be in town. And she happened to be at Acoustic Cafe at Club Cafe. And I just went up to her. I didn't know her that well. I knew who she was, but we weren't friends. And I was just like, hey, I don't know if you're going to be in town. And she's like, why? What's going on? And I'm like, well, I put together this show. And I wanted to invite you to it if you could make it. And I tell her the lineup, and she's like, oh my goodness, like that is such a killer lineup. And I was like, oh, thank you, like super proud. And she goes, Mr. Smalls does shows. And I was like, I'm like, yeah, of course, yes. And she's like, I really want you to do a show. And I tried to stop her, and I was like, listen, why don't we just see if I can actually do this? Why don't we just wait? Let me see if I can pull this one off, and then we'll talk. And so she leaves. And if you've ever been to Club Cafe, you know that it's not very big. It's, it's the size of a garage.
Right.
And so, like, she walks away, and like, basically just turns right back around, and she comes back to me. She goes, no. She's like, I want you to do a show. How about October? And, like, without seeing anything. Without me proving anything, she kind of pushed me the same way that you did. I think you two are, like, I don't have a devil and an angel. I've got two angels over here. Just like, you should do this. You need to do this. And yeah. But it was a crazy night. It was so overwhelming. And what was really neat for me was you guys all got paid.
Yep.
You guys all got paid pretty well, too.
Yep. And at that time, almost everything that I had done, even previously, was almost all pay to play. Like, when you're organizing a show as a local artist, you pay the band. You pay the sound person. You pay for promotion. And it's still awesome, but it's a little bit, I don't know. And we still sold tickets for it. It's not like we weren't selling tickets.
Yeah, I did make you guys sell a couple tickets.
I do believe everybody should sell tickets. That's because if you're not pushing your art, nobody is going to. That's across the board for any business. If you're not eating your own dog food,
Well, and my thing now that I've been doing this for a while, I tell artists, listen, it's not my job to invite your friends. That's your job.
That's your job.
My job is to invite people that don't know who you are.
Yep.
And I think that's really important that artists know that. Sometimes they go into a gig thinking, oh, well, the venue's going to promote. No. I mean
you can
they do.
You can kind of count on a built-in crowd, at least with Smalls. I feel like Smalls has a nice built-in crowd.
You can.
People that want to go see shows and
Right.
are getting the emails. So, yes, venues do a decent job.
I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying venues aren't the ones who are going to reach your friends. They don't know who your friends are. They don't know who your family are. They don't know who love you and will do anything for you. That's your job. You need to tell your parents. You need to tell your family.
Right.
You need to tell your
and
fans.
your fan base, yeah.
Your fans.
Because sometimes your friends don't want to be your fans. That can happen. I don't really have a lot of friends like that. I am extremely lucky. But, just like I have neighbors that hate music, I might have a few friends who are like, not for me.
Yeah, and that's cool. But, you have to pull your weight. You have to.
Yeah. I think one of the ways that I was, super successful with that was starting to use social media to promote.
You are so, to me, you are, a Twitter queen.
And Facebook. I mean, here's the thing is, you have this amazing opportunity, and this is what companies are doing, to figure out what people like, and then use that information to connect with people who would like what you're doing.
Right.
People love new stuff. They love the next new thing. They're looking for things to feed them creatively. So if you're creating something, it doesn't have to be music. And you can use analytics or you can use a search. I usually just searched on Twitter for like just something that I'm thinking about that day. Like maybe I'm thinking about, like, this is something in the gaming community we've been joking around about. One of the things we've been joking around a lot in the gaming community is about lemonade. Because like everybody loves lemonade, and in England, apparently lemonade is just seltzer water. And it's not even like lemony. It's crazy. But if you wanted to find other people who are excited about something or the same things, it's kind of like finding your niche to find your community.
It's finding your group in high school, you know.
I think
all the nerds are in one place, all the chorus geeks are in another, and the theater geeks and the band nerds, and like. But what I love about Facebook, I think, is that you can be a part. Like, you don't have to be a niche. Like, you can explore all of these different things.
You can be a part of so many different Facebook groups. So it's not, what I love now about social media is it's advanced and so many more people have adopted it. You can go and find these groups, so you don't have to be adding every single person to your friends list, which before that was kind of how you stayed in touch.
That's how you built your numbers, and that's how you did all the things. And now, now
you can join like a group. Like when I post something to sell it online, like I could do it in the Pittsburgh flea market instead of like, hey, anybody want this?
Right. It's kind of crazy how music and technology are kind of connected now.
Yes.
Now you're pretty important. You're a computer goddess. Like,
oh my gosh, computer goddess. That's very kind of you.
I mean, yeah, like how do you feel like the two work together, like music and technology, like how do you think that's working out together now?
Well, you could link back to this book that I read. It's called Go Tech or Go Extinct. And it just talks about how technology has advanced to this point where it's accessible to anyone, and it's going to let everyone have these new opportunities. So in my perspective, music is the thing that connects all of us. Music is not something that you do because you're really good at it. Now, really good people can do it.
Yeah.
But music was a part of ritual. Music was a part of connection. Music was a part of community. It was a core component in every civilization, in every country. So to me, music is a human right. Technology is taking on a very similar role. It should be a human right. It should not just be there for the people that can afford it. It should not just be there for the artists who have companies that will back them and give them millions of dollars for social campaigns to, launch a single.
Yeah.
Music is an access piece, like accessibility. Just the same way, like, it can heal. Technology can help you grow. Technology can help you succeed in life. It can help you connect with people. I think that every single person on this planet is technical. I do not care what the circumstances are, because it's this new digital world.
Yeah.
And look at the disruptors of technology and how it's disrupted music, and it's empowered and given voices to people who never had a voice, who couldn't get booked at the venues.
Right.
For like some of the things I was talking about earlier, there were some very well-known venues that shut down in Pittsburgh because they would not book people of color. That is a real thing in Pittsburgh.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I won't say anything more than that.
I won't say anything either, but as someone who's Filipino American, like, I pass. And I'm a part of situations where people bring up conversations that I think are ignorant. And like, I don't think they would say it in front of me if my chromosomes were a little bit different and I came out like a little more tan, I think I would be treated much differently. And I take that perspective every single day, and I use my voice.
Yes.
And that's like, when I look at the communities of music, of technology, I see a lot of people who are just fine not saying anything and keeping it the way it is. but like, I have privilege, so
Yeah.
I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, okay, like, yes, everybody deserves to know you can get into a technology school. You can have a career that pays you really, really well. Even women, women are not encouraged to do computer science. It is proven there. I can point you in the direction of so many studies.
But isn't it proven though that like women, like, we are really good at math and science?
Yeah, amazing. There's no difference, but there's still a pay gap. There's still women aren't being interviewed for positions, and like, I'm a part of this incredible committee at UPMC, the Women in IT Committee, and we are pushing to do professional development. Like, this week, I'm hosting a workshop on the Power Platform, and I don't expect anybody to know what that is, but it's Microsoft's low-code, no-code solution. So that way, anyone with data, anyone with access to a computer can start to learn this for free. You don't have to go to college for it. You don't have to pay some person to train you.
Oh, wow.
It's self-led study, and everything they're doing is based on accessibility. So there are different ways to learn. If you learn a different way, not all of us learn the same way.
Right.
But I do think all of us can create apps. I've seen people that had no technical ability previous become experts, become creators. And that's like the same thing with music. It's like, would you tell someone that they're never going to play the guitar?
No.
No, because if you have a guitar and if you practice it, you have a pretty likely chance of getting better. It's like, I wouldn't tell somebody like, you can't sing, depending on like your range.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But like, there's still space for that, and like no one can tell you, well, you're not good enough to sing in your car your favorite song.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that is such a powerful experience for a person.
Yes.
Everybody, you sang a song with the windows down, like blasting the radio. Like, everybody has that experience, and everybody deserves that.
Right. But I think the cool thing is, for me, I have 5 nieces, which, if you've watched any of these videos or have met me in person, you should know this by now. I have 5 beautiful nieces, and number 2, she just loves video games. She just loves them. And for me to be able to go and tell her, it's like, hey, I've got a friend. I got a friend who's a girl who does computer stuff. Like, would you want to like learn more computer stuff? And just to see her eyes open, knowing that, there's an adult woman,
like, you
in
can
this
see
field.
these people. Yes.
And it makes it more accessible. Like,
Yep.
I didn't realize that I had so many female friends in computers and technology because we don't really expect it, I guess.
I think it's that, and I think that television's kind of catching up and showing us these alternative roles.
Okay.
Every single day, if you pick up Instagram, if you pick up Facebook, whatever it is, the world's going to tell you how much sexier you should be. I get ads for plastic surgery and laser lipo and all those other kinds of things, but I can tell you I'm not getting advertisements for coding workshops. I'm not getting advertisements for the things that are actually going to improve my life. And even within the communities that I'm a part of, especially the gaming community, which is very technical.
Yes.
You have these brilliant, amazing women who are showing up, like, they are learning these complex games, they are running the show and doing great things, but the community still isn't there.
Right. Just like the music community, just like the technology, but
it's so much worse. Like, the music community was definitely like this, I think, in the 90s, where it was like, you have to be sexy, like Britney Spears, take your clothes off. Like, that's how you got on the bill, because you were sexy and you were going to sell tickets. I see that now in the tech, where it's like, okay, like, is she really pretty? We're just putting a face on this. And I'm saying, number 1, I don't want a seat at the table if I don't get to wear my clothes.
Right.
And number 2, if that's how it's going to be at this table, I'm making my own table.
Yes.
It's going to be out of like some really amazing farmhouse wood. We're going to have It's going to be wired so everybody can plug in their laptop.
That's
Like,
right.
we're going to make this amazing. Like, I'm not settling. And I am going to make sure that every interaction that I have with people, they feel empowered. Because you have things like the body positive movement, which is being severely, severely skewered to get girls to take their clothes off. And here's the thing. I will support anyone, however they want to look. But I do not want to glaze over this insane pressure that is put on girls to post pictures basically nude on the internet.
Yeah.
Because guess what, that hurts. You guys all like love it, you're liking it, this is great, like we're supporting her, but
it hurts my heart.
You don't understand. It hurts her job prospects. She loses when she posts that picture, it's gone. It's out there. She's posted it herself, so there's no real way of getting it back because it's not like it was leaked.
Right.
So like getting it taken down, and it just like you don't understand what it's costing her.
Right. I think the big thing for me that I see in the world is that there's two sets of rules. You know, men can go and just be men and do their thing and everything is fine. They can be the biggest jerk. They could be mediocre at their job and be praised. And then a woman has to come in and fight for every, like, good job.
They have to be more educated. They have to work extra hours. Mm-hmm. They have to put in more time because the networks aren't there.
And we can't even communicate the way that we communicate, you know, because if a man comes off gruff, well, you know, he's a strong leader. Well, if a woman comes off gruff,
she's difficult to work with.
Difficult to work with.
Yep. So, it's just, and these are the kinds of things that with the Women in IT organization I'm working on, with a lot of the people online that I partner with, especially the cybersecurity network. There's this network. It's called like, I think it was like the Badass Network, or I don't remember what Caitlin calls it, but it's a group of women that are hackers who know how to manipulate the internet, that are finding things that are posted that aren't supposed to be posted and having it taken down. So like revenge porn.
Okay.
You know, like ripping all that stuff down and helping women get their lives back.
Yeah.
And like that's technology for good.
That's technology for good. And it's a shame. It's a shame that, you know, like it seems like a lot of what women have to do in the world, in our lives, in our job is really go back and fix things.
Yep.
Like that's constantly what we're doing. We're going back and fixing things, or having to do double work because, you know, we're just a girl and we don't know anything.
I'm just a girl. You know, like Gwen Stefani was talking about it 20 years ago.
Yep. Like I remember a time when I was working at a camp and the battery in the van died. So, you know, you charge it as you do the things. And then the next day, like, we drove it and did the things and let it sit, and it died again. And I looked at the maintenance guy, and I was like, listen, it's the alternator. There's something wrong with the alternator. The alternator's bad. No. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
And wouldn't you believe it? It was the alternator. Like, just because we have boobs doesn't mean our brain doesn't work. Like, we're smart. We know things. We know cars. You know, some girls can fix motorcycles.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just think that humans, and I choose, in my world, to believe in, like, more than two genders.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of try to use the terms, like, feminine qualities, masculine qualities, because there's just such a range. Yeah. I know so many incredible, amazing, beautiful people. And, you know, like, there are guys that I know that have had a really hard run of it. Because, like, you're born male, but, like, your life and who you are is completely different.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know that that's something that I struggled with is, you know, I'm born with all of my qualities that I get from my mom and my dad, and, you know, and my interests are more, you know, I'm a sports and music type of person. And so it's always been hard for me trying to fit in because I identify as female. but also the way that society is, this is female. You have to wear pink and dresses and your hair and your makeup and long hair
right.
And I'm not that female.
Like, there's not one archetype that's
Right.
going to make sense for all of us.
And yeah, so like it's only been over the last couple of years where I've been able to, like, this is me. I am female, but I wear jeans and t-shirts and basketball shorts and tennis shoes.
Right.
And I take taekwondo. Like, we really need to start getting away from boy activities, girl activities, boy toys, girl toys.
Yeah, exactly. The main reason that I get really passionate about this is because, like, there's so much work to do in technology. Yeah. This entire world is transforming, and we are right at the beginning of it. There's free training, there are opportunities, and, like, as a single mother, having a career where I'm not rich, but I'm very comfortable, you know, like, it's a little bit better than paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
But, like, having previously, I mean, since I was, like, 18 years old, working 2 jobs.
Right.
You know, including the music, you know, like, on top of it, and raising my kids, like, it's constant hustle. It is, like, and, like, it's so easy to get burnt out. So if you can find a lucrative career that lets you have some time to sleep instead of bartending at night, like, hey, girl, talk to me. Yeah. Or, like, person identifying as a woman. Like, to me, I want to help everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, but I can totally notice that women are a very small fraction of this, and yet they bring such a unique perspective.
Absolutely.
And it's like, come on, like, I got this opportunity for you. Come talk to me. You know.
I think the one thing that maybe I feel sets me apart from other production companies or booking agents or whatever you want to call me is I sell the things I love.
Yep.
And
shouldn't sell it if you don't love it.
Right.
Right.
But also, like, I'm the type of person where if I love you, I'm bringing you. You know, like, if there's an opportunity, you know, I think of you. That's just what I do. Like, I want to bring as many people to the table as possible. You know, it's not good enough for me just to sit at the table. Like, I want to bring as many talented people along with me to be at the, you know, the big kids table and to really to get the money that they deserve or to get the recognition that they deserve. And I think that kind of puts me ahead of, or not ahead of, but sets me aside from.
You created your own highway.
Yeah.
You know? And it has its own on-ramps and off-ramps. And access, instead of waiting for someone to bring something to you, you've always created it.
Just bulldozed right through it.
and that means, like, but that means success because of community, success because of partnerships and sponsors. Like, I consider Liz one of our sponsors with this effort. And for me, as an independent musician, I kind of feel like after I left Graceful, you know, I thought that EP, it was being shopped, it was being looked at by big artists. I thought that was it. Like, little did I know how much I could do solo. You know, like, fast forward 2.5 years, and I won that songwriting competition with Whirly.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, because that was absolutely mind-blowing. Tell everyone about that.
So, I receive a lot of different newsletters. That's how I stay in the know with stuff. So I received a newsletter from another songwriter, and he had said there's this new app. It's called Whirly. You can just record yourself singing to backing tracks. So it's kind of like karaoke, but also as a musician, when people want to see, like, your library of work, you might not always have $500 a song to get a band together and, you know, create an instrumental. So this was huge. They started doing a songwriting competition where there were just 6 tracks that were instrumental and you could do whatever you wanted. I created an account. I recorded some that I pre-wrote, some that I just did without a listen previously. I just free-versed, sang, not a rapper. I just kind of let the song come out.
But free-versed it, yeah.
Free-versed it. And I ended up winning a trip to Los Angeles and recording at, I couldn't believe it, Interscope Records, in the same studio where they recorded the vocals and the music for La La Land. And getting this really incredible artist experience.
Yeah.
Like walking through the label and just seeing all of the people working on their laptops, like trying to figure out, who the hell is she? So the receptionist, when we got there and I'm checking in, she's looking me over and she's like, usually it's very well-known artists in this area. So I was a little bit of a tourist, if you will. And she was like, yeah, so you are on the list. I guess I'm letting you in. Devin and I were just like,
thank you.
She doesn't even know why she's letting us in. This is how big of an opportunity it was. And
what did you record there?
I recorded, so I went in ready to record Galaxy, which is a little bit, if I were to define it now, this was a little bit before like the lo-fi hip hop. It would make a very good lo-fi hip hop song. But it's very very spacey, very beautiful, very intimate lyrics. I get into the studio. The producer, nice guy, just got back the night before on a flight from a wedding. He was on a flight back from Israel. So he was exhausted. And he didn't realize that the track we were recording to that he had wasn't even like set up properly. And then all of a sudden I had to rewrite my song. A song that meant a lot to me, that I performed out. And you know, you really have to know your stuff when you go into the studio. Like you don't want to be like brand new.
Yeah, you don't write a song in the studio.
No, but I did. In 4 hours, which is how much time we had at the space, which I don't want to know how much that cost. Because in Pittsburgh, a studio is $60 an hour.
And that's a good price.
Yeah.
$60 an hour, that's a good price.
So, in LA, you know,
Interscope.
It's just, yeah, but it's like even just back from that, just in LA, working in a studio with people, like that has always been my favorite thing. I've helped so many other artists with that, where I'm just like sitting there and they're throwing ideas off of me, or I'm doing backup vocals, or I'm helping to write the vocal melodies. That's what I was really strong with. That's how a lot of my other projects started. But to be there for my own song was like, oh gosh, and now this man wants me to rewrite it. He wanted me to sing it differently.
Yes.
He wanted me to sing like Justin Bieber.
Which comes to, I mean, it's full circle. You know, like, it's your song. Technically it's not your money, but it's your song, it's your money, it's your time. And we still have producers and things like that telling us how to do our songs. How to
express yourself. And I was just like, he's like, I do this for a living. And I really, I wanted to, there's a part of me that wanted to meet his expectations so badly.
Right.
I was just like, I'm sitting there and I'm on my phone and I'm like rewriting lyrics, but he's also in there and he's just deleting chunks. And I'm like, no, but that's the whole meaning. Like, that's the whole thing. And, you know, I just kept going into the studio and doing takes. And I think that there was this point where I was like, I'm done with music. I can't do this. Like, and I walked out of took the headphones off, and I just like kind of like blankly walked out of the studio and sat down.
Like it's not fun anymore.
But it wasn't even the song anymore.
Yeah.
And so the producer comes over and he sits down, and then, you know, my brother Devin just calmly walks over, sits down and smiles. He's like, hey guys, how about we finish this song? And the producer, I think he just was so used to his style that he kind of realized what was happening, and he's like, I'm gonna let you have a little bit more creative freedom with this. Like, let's do it. And the rest of the experience was magical. We got the parts that I really loved, but there were still lyrics that, you know, it was like bibbity. I call it bibbity bobbity boo. You know, with like people's flow and like the syncopation. And it sounds good, but it's not me. Like, one of the first lines is stealing shots of tequila, and as someone who was a bartender, I never stole anything. I never took something that wasn't offered to me.
I don't really see you as a tequila girl anyways.
I never stole anything. I mean, tequila's okay, but like, it just, for someone with like my level of like OCD about morality.
Right.
And, like, always being, like, the person that people can
The
rely on
song
and
no
trust.
longer was yours.
It was just like, yeah, I would never steal a shot of tequila. It's like $5. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what do we gain with this line? Like, but it was amazing to hear how I sounded coming through the SSL board. It was amazing to see the equipment and see, like, that level of experience. And I honestly think I deserve that. I think that I write music that deserves that level of experience. But it took kind of going through this hard patch to really say, like, how bad do you want this?
Yeah. So, like, was that the time that you kind of decided to, like, go back into technology around that time, or?
So, fast forward 3 hours later.
3 hours later, okay.
3 hours later that same day, I got a phone call from Buddy, and he says, hey, I was just over talking to Karen. So, Karen Matlick, who is the head of this Women in IT internal committee I'm on. I was talking to Karen, and she was talking about this Women in IT stuff she's doing. I showed her your LinkedIn profile, because at this time I was doing music full time.
Right.
I showed her your LinkedIn profile, and she has an opportunity for you. And I was just, like, sitting there, literally just did a photo shoot in Malibu.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm living my ultimate dream.
But it wasn't.
Why are you calling me with this desk job? Can you not let me have today? You know, like, I was so shocked. But I agreed. I agreed that I would do an interview. And then I found out what it was. And oh my gosh, I was like, there's no other person on the planet that can do what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, everything that I know from community building, everything that I know from music, everything that I know about being on stage, everything that I know about creating content and videos and keeping people, like, engaged and bringing them in, I got to do all of that for technology. And I got to do it without any knowledge that this was going to happen. I got to do it and prepare an organization the size of UPMC for a pandemic.
Yeah, you totally, like, you got them through or you're getting them through this kind of thing.
Well, like, just from the education and the training and the talking to people, like, I think I do one thing really well. And I'm surrounded by thousands of experts that do everything else better. But I do one thing really well, and I believe that anyone can be technical, and I help them believe it. You have people that are the top experts and subject matter aficionados for surgeries and for how to, you know, prep a patient for a certain procedure. Those people have been doing that for like 30 years. Yeah. But they don't know how to use, like, Gmail. The technology, like the social media.
Right.
You know, like, they don't know how to use Teams. And, like, that is so scary. And it's people of all ages, actually, like, that I work with. And when you are asked to change everything you do in, like, a short period of time, even if it's better, it's scary.
It's so scary. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have him. Right? Like, we all know this. But yeah, I mean, I know that my social media skills had to improve, just even doing this. So yeah, it's like, it's so scary, and especially someone in my age range to older, you know, like, I didn't have a computer growing up. Like, I think internet came around when I was in high school. You know, my first email account was my college email. So, like, this isn't, like, my nieces, they grow up with this.
Kids are literally born with a phone in their face.
Oh, absolutely.
It's in there. I have video of my daughter. I was getting the C-section, and they're bringing her out, and I'm like, oh, let me unlock my phone really quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
and I have a video of it, and, like, that's so bizarre.
Right.
Compared to how it was when Chase was born.
Yeah, even when Chase was born.
You know, because it still wasn't like that.
Right.
That pervasive. And now, like, technology is a part of everything. And I'm going to share my number one tech hack for everyone out there. We go to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has an app. And most restaurants do at this point. So this is not a Chick-fil-A plug. This is a technology use case. The line for Chick-fil-A was 30 cars deep. I ordered my food through the app. My son pushed the buttons and clicked send. We drove past everyone all the way around and parked in one of the 11 open spots for curbside pickup.
Yeah.
I was done in 11 minutes.
Right.
The other cars that I drove past were still all the way out and around by Trader Joe's. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, think about the fuel that's being wasted. Think about their time that's
Think
being
about
wasted.
the ozone that's being eaten up. And
Exactly. Yeah. But I was just like that. I was like, Chase, this is a disruptor. Like, this is what it's going to be like in the future.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they just open their minds a little bit to using the technology, like, most of the restaurants give you free stuff, or they have a special online ordering menu.
Yep.
Because it makes it so much easier for them. Instead of, like, they know what's coming in versus, like, roll up to the window. Yeah, I'd like a number 3 plus a number 2, you know?
Right.
And I love that.
And I think it also provides a way to get the orders more accurate.
Oh, yeah, you can customize things. My son said, and this is a really good point, Deb. So Chase says, I've always wanted to know what a Chick-fil-A sandwich would be without those nasty pickles. I love the pickles.
Like, the whole thing is, like, brined in pickle juice. Poor
know.
kid.
I know, he was just like, he's like, even when you take them off, you can still taste it, and it made me
Because
sick.
it's in the batter, buddy.
So he had no idea that you could customize it on the app. He was like, my life has changed. I was like...
Not by much, though. Don't tell him.
I won't tell him.
But yeah,
It's so funny.
It's kind of crazy just how technology has really revolutionized the whole world. But I think the one thing that is also kind of neat is the fact that now, because, you know, with the pandemic, and with technology being where it is so accessible to so many people, there's a lot of people who are taking the recording into their own hands.
Yes.
The interview that I did for episode 4 was with Melina Dominic, and that's one of the things that she did over the period of COVID. During her first year in college, is she started up her own recording studio where, like, she can record. Actually, it's a traveling recording studio.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Right, so she has it so that she can go to people's dorm rooms or whatever, and or shoot in their home or whatever, so that the person is more comfortable, which I think is a huge thing too. Like, you know, when you were saying you were walking in there and you're just like awestruck and like nervous and like you don't want to touch anything and you're like, I want these people to like me, and you know, there's a lot of nerves in that. I would assume. I've never professionally recorded vocals anywhere. But I would assume that it's, you know, kind of overwhelming and just like an added stressor that now artists are able to kind of like do it themselves and
stay in their element, in the same space where you're inspired, in the same space that you're recording.
But I think it's a good thing because it allows the artist to provide the song that they intended.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's the most politically correct way to say that.
Yeah. There's so many like cool tools that you can use now. Like, even I use a program called Splice, and what it allows me to do is I can upload all of the actual tracks. So like when you are recording, you get like these like tracks for each sound element.
Okay.
And I can upload that now with a cloud service that allows me to share it with John over in California, who usually does percussion, or I can share it with, you know, another person that I'm working with. It doesn't matter where they are.
Right.
It's kind of like what I say about work. Like, work is something that we're creating. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be like where we're creating it.
Who have you worked with, or?
So I'm mainly working with my brother Devin at this point. I'm also working with Brandon and Buddy. Like, I'm just basically with my quarantine.
Your quarantine. I love that term.
Like, I have my quarantine, which Deb is a part of, and it's so strange because it's like, it's so limited compared to what I would do previously with like working with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But I've been using also this program called Splice to upload my projects, share with them what I kind of started with, let them put their tracks and record, you know, whatever software they use to record. and then I can see that in real time, and I can hear that in real time.
Yeah.
So, like, not as they're playing, but it's way easier than, hey, here's an email of this.
Right.
You know, I can isolate the tracks and be able to use that. So I actually heard about it from my friend John in California, who is a drummer that I work with pretty frequently.
Okay.
But he did the beta for that program and helped them to release it. And it's this really cool community now.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, because I know you've been working on... I want to say a new song, but it's not a new song.
It's not a new song.
It's a new version.
Yes.
It's a... Was it 2.0 kind of?
Yeah, I think 2.0 is pretty good. So the song that I wrote is called This Life. It is a song that I created and submitted for the WYAP songwriting competition a few years back. I think it was 2015.
Now, was this before, during, or after, like, Luna?
This was way before Luna.
So this is way before you were pregnant with Luna.
Yep, way before my daughter. Yeah, it was just a really fun time because I was playing a lot at that point. I was playing all the festivals, like, as myself.
Yeah.
Which was really cool instead of, like, you know, this band or that band.
Right.
But This Life was just one of those songs that I think that the videos on YouTube where I was hanging out in the South Side. There was a spot I'd always practice, like, right outside of Club Cafe. And I was hanging out there, and, like, it came to me. Mm-hmm. It's a really short song, and I ran into my car, and I turned on the video, and I recorded it. And I was just like, yeah, this is a song. And, like, thank you.
This is a song.
Thank you, song beings, like,
yes.
for dropping this to me. But I feel like a lot's changed in the last year.
Well, I mean, even
the whole world.
Yeah.
The whole world is changing, and I'm changing along with it. And I wanted to, like, update it a little bit. Yeah. Just, like, reflect some of the lyrics, especially the chorus, God may I grow old gracefully. When I look back, may mean something bigger and deeper than my vanities. And I have an alternate chorus that I threw in there where it's courageously. Yes. Because, like, so much of my life I focused on grace. It was, like, one of those affirmation words for me. And, you know, just being, I'm just looking to have, like, God's grace. And I just realized how diminishing in power that is.
Well, and I also think that you can have grace and be courageous at the same time.
But, like, if it's the only thing you're hoping for, right. You're leading a small life.
They're, like, just after 2020 and it now being 2021, I just feel like there's a lot of people, a lot of my inner group that we are getting the opportunities to boldly do what we want to do.
Yes. It takes courage to do that.
And it takes courage and people who won't let you stop. You know, and you're getting to record, and me, Steel Kitty just is excelling in all the things. It feels like a good year. It feels like that, yes. You know, now's the time we either courageously take those steps or we're just gonna sit down.
I just don't want to, like, I likened it to, like, having a debit card, but a debit card for my energy. And, you know, am I swiping it at the Fear Factory today? Am I swiping it at, you know, the Bravery Factory today? Am I, you know, swiping it to do the work?
Yes.
And, like, I've been doing a lot of work. I've been just growing, like, myself. And as someone who's, like, a sexual assault survivor, that is work that's done every single day. And, like, this song specifically, like, it's kind of, with all the health stuff that I've had in the last year. Yeah. And especially going through not one but two major jaw surgeries, like, where they're just slice and, like, digging, that I had to really check myself and say, do I want this? Yeah. And if this is the last song that I record, you know,
what do I want it to say?
What do I want it to say?
Absolutely. Yes, I understand that 100%.
It took a lot of courage to figure out whether or not I even had the stomach to keep doing this after having all of the health issues, finding, you know, that it's a non-cancerous tumor in my brain, which was an incidental finding, trying to figure out what was wrong with my jaw and why it hurt so much. And then having 2 major jaw surgeries in the last 6 months, I wasn't sure if this was going to be the last song that I recorded. I'm not even really supposed to be singing, but something in me...
Don't blame me.
Something in me was like, I need to get this out for my mental health, because music is my escape. Music is my coping mechanism. It's the way that I transmute all of the energy and all of the healing into a actual form, you know, because like when you're going through something as big as COVID, as big as divorce, like you have to have
as raising kids.
You have to have an outlet, man.
Yeah.
You have to have an outlet. I mean, luckily I started hanging out and doing more things with the gaming community, and I've gotten to meet so many amazing people, like my friends at the Tower 11.
And you got into that because your son really likes gaming, correct?
I mean, my son really likes gaming. My boyfriend is a gamer. He's a big knowledge buff on the game that I play, and I think it's fun. I play Destiny. So Destiny 2, yeah. Space magic.
I'm like, I putter around in Minecraft. Like that's the extent of my computer abilities.
I love Minecraft. Minecraft is how I got into creating content.
Well, I think so. I remember back when we first met, or during that beginning time, I think you had a birthday party for Chase or something. I can't remember, but I remember I got him something Minecraft for his birthday when he was like 7 or something like that. Yeah,
probably. Oh yeah, he liked going to Minecon and doing, like, we did the convention, you know.
Yes.
That level of Minecraft was like my life.
But he's also super athletic, like wicked talented soccer player.
He's also very good at chilling backstage while I'm on stage.
Yeah.
That was a lot of his upbringing too.
Yes. I mean, I think the last time, music-wise, that like you, me, and Chase were hanging out together was October of 2019 when I put together.
Which one was it?
It was the
Millvale?
No. It was downtown, Market Square.
Oh, yeah.
When it was Morgan Arena, you, and Liz Berlin.
Yep.
Yeah. And this one over here totally took me out of my comfort zone. Big time during that show. It was one of the shows that was done at the Market Square.
Yeah.
And I was in charge of putting together the lineup. Liz asked me to put a lineup together. Liz Berlin. And so I, of course, chose her because, hello. And you and Morgan Arena. And it was so fun because I think that was like one of the first shows, besides my birthday, that I actually got to really do after my hiatus.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had recently worked with Morgan Arena singing some harmonies on one of my favorite songs of hers. And then I had gotten the opportunity to work with Liz Berlin on one of my favorite songs of hers. And this one over here got a little jealous.
Yeah, totally.
And she's like, you have to sing with me. And I literally heard the songs on a Monday. I skipped Acoustic Cafe and I came to your house. I listened to the songs for the first time on Monday and created harmonies.
Beautiful harmonies.
And had to know them by Saturday. And I was working a full-time job and a part-time job at the time. But yeah, that was, you guys all kind of push me out of my comfort zone, don't you?
I consider it more of pulling you into a natural creative space that you don't do every day. Speaking of comfort zones.
Speaking
of new things.
You
just accepted a position as director of social media.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
I accepted the position of director of social media for Urban Law Recordings, which is a local recordings record label here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we have some big ideas for this summer. Huge ideas for this summer. So find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'll put all that stuff up. You know how I do. Or not how I do. How Wesley does. And, but yeah, so keep an eye out because we've got some huge things. And then also, this one over here.
I am excited for that, but I want to circle right back because you're doing that thing.
What thing?
You're minimizing. We are going to celebrate with a toast because we haven't had a chance to do that. So before we start talking about all the other amazing things, I have a special treat. Here, you go ahead. Grab a glass.
Thank
Grab
you.
a glass. And this was actually a Christmas gift from fellow woman in IT, Lauren Gardonis. It is from the Pittsburgh Winery. Shout out to Tim. And it is the Women Who Rock
Nice.
Sauvignon Blanc. You
Yeah.
can grill me on that later. Sorry.
Your French is not nearly as good as your English accent.
The English accent's quite good, thank you.
which you guys missed at the beginning. We had a fun little 20-minute blooper section.
Toast. We're gonna do a toast. I'll set the bottle here.
That smells yummy.
Okay. So, a toast to Deb for rocking and encouraging, empowering other women to rock.
Thank you.
Cheers, Deb.
Cheers. Ooh, that's a yummy one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. So yeah, there's new things, new opportunities.
Yeah,
And-
always growing, always pushing yourself.
And Crystal and I, we have something working in for the summer too, which I don't know if you got my text. I got ideas, but
Always. Like, there are a lot of good things coming. I'm really excited to release This Life.
Yes.
And thank you for encouraging me and in this insane time of no time,
Okay.
giving me a real deadline to work towards. And I'm just really excited.
Me too. I think this is gonna be a good year, and I'm just looking forward to whatever comes our way, and for new opportunities and just little places of growth in all different areas.
Yeah,
So-
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Like, you, when I think of courage, I do think of you.
Well, I think
I love that.
I think it's funny too because I think 3 years ago you told me that I should be doing a podcast, and I just was like, "What? What do you? No, nobody.
Isn't that always the feeling? Nobody cares. Who would want to watch? Who wants to listen? That imposter syndrome is a human thing. I think it's an emotion, not a condition. It's like love.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fall in love, sometimes you fall out of love, sometimes you fall into imposter syndrome. And
Yeah.
It tends to be the time when you're creating something super awesome.
I think I never really I didn't understand it. I never really fully experienced imposter syndrome until this year. As things were starting to get bigger, as things were starting to gain momentum.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
this like, like you can't breathe and just like, but if you keep moving, if you keep pushing through, like, there's something huge waiting. And I'm just looking at these past couple of years, and just from the beginning of Still Kitty to where it is now, all the people that have been huge impacts, it's all been just slowly one foot in front of the other.
It's just one step at a time.
One foot in front of the other, and sometimes you learn things easily, and then sometimes you learn things hard.
It's like the short path and the long, beautiful journey.
I
You get
mean,
a little more scenery, but you stub your toe a few more times.
I mean, that's the thing. When I look at this and when I look at where I'm at right now, this isn't a destination. This is just a stop on the vacation. For me, working in music, this is my dream. And so as things keep going, I see that it's just little steps, and it's not a destination, and I'm not aiming for anything other than to, get to the table and bring as many people there with me.
I love it.
I mean, that's the only thing.
The more the merrier.
I
think that if I were to think about, like, what do I want next, I'm obviously hoping this single does well. Oh. Because this is from my heart. This is my message. This is, if I could never talk again, like, what mattered out of my whole catalog that I didn't record yet, what mattered. And this is like my gift. I feel like when I wrote the song, I told you, I was like, it just came to me. It came through me. And this is something that I'm hoping to share with all of you, and that you find just magical in your own way, like in your experience. I hope it speaks to you. And of course, we are recording vocals with Deb today, so she's going to be on there as well. And I just love this sonic energy.
Yes.
It makes me really happy.
Here's your soapbox time.
Here's my soapbox. That's so easy for me.
I know.
This is what my world is.
You're
and
like I've got a bridge of soapboxes.
I think no. It's all one unified theme, whether you believe that's possible or not, because I can talk a lot.
Yeah. Which is why we get along so well.
That's what my brother said. He goes, I don't think your surgeon knew how much you use your jaw. He's like, you talk a lot. Okay, yes I do. But it's rooted in this very basic, easy concept of imagination. I always say Mr. Rogers was my TV dad, and I think that after everything that we've seen transpire, everything, whether it's personal conflicts over politics, or it's struggling with COVID and how to remain social distance and all of that, I think that the main thing is imagination. You have to take a few minutes every single day, whether it's listening to music to be inspired, whether it's meditating, whether it's screaming into a pillow. And you have to start to imagine what you want for tomorrow, and just take one small step to get there.
Yeah.
Because I think right now, with the way technology is improving, with the way that we have access to each other, you can literally accomplish anything. Absolutely.
Everything that I do is to lift up the people around me. And I think we need to get to a culture where women are supporting each other, and women are...
Oh, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing these huge networks just emerging. And it's like, do you ever get that, like, if you've worked in a place, I think this is easy for me because this is literally what my life is like right now, where it's like, I didn't even know that you worked there.
Right.
It's like, so I heard, Wes's girlfriend, now she immediately has access to my whole network. This is the power of it, is it's not who has the most pokey cards. It's like there's a library, and like the pokey are all free, and like they could be friends.
Yes.
Like that's where we're working now.
But yeah, I think we need to, as women in positions, start bringing women with us, and we need to make opportunities for women.
And like the way that you do that is, how many people feel exhausted and tapped out because you're already doing the extra work, because you already have to have the extra education. We have to find it in ourselves to have a little bit more for someone else. We always have something to give. I just, even when I'm back to back, like I have time for that mentoring meeting to help, my mentee get through something.
And that's something that you do, like you're a mentor. As a woman in technology, you actually have people that you...
I have people that I officially mentor, I have people that I unofficially mentor, and it's a mix of like men and women. Right. And, I have peers in the community, the music community, that I have these relationships with. And it's just like, yes, it is more work. but it will benefit you in so many more ways, because that's how we build these connections, these meaningful connections that most women don't have, because we didn't go to that specific university. We weren't in that specific fraternity.
Right.
Like,
we don't play golf.
Our parents haven't been, our families haven't been associated for generations, and this is just how you continue to go through it. Like, I see so many women in IT that are coming through Harvard, because Harvard's making more of an opportunity for women to get access. And I have thought about doing that program 6 times, but I can't afford it. I cannot, even if I financed it, I just can't. I can't like pull the trigger on that purchase. It would be awesome, but like, there are so many men who have already gone through that program. They've studied together. Like, how much of a bond do you have with the people you went to college with?
Right. That's
the value. It's the education, but everybody having all of those same advantages at the same time, and you're in the same place, and you're building those memories, possibly building families together. Like, that's the system.
Well, I mean, like you said, people in their colleges and how close they are. And yeah, I mean, when I moved to Pittsburgh, because I'm not from Pittsburgh, the music community has so many people from my very tiny religious college.
It's amazing.
Like Joanna Lowe, Eric George, Danny Rechtenwald, and like these are people that I would see often,
Exactly.
And yeah, like I feel like those are certain people that I rely heavily on, or these people that.
But like you probably don't think twice about reaching out and asking them for help, whereas a lot of women in music, a lot of women in technology, and game, whatever the community is, you're so used to being that rock for everybody else.
Yes.
You're so used to that you don't even know how to ask for help. Or after you take the time, which takes a lot of time, to figure out what you need help with, figuring out who to ask help. Like, I'd like to be comfortable enough. So, like, that's the thing is, like, if you feel like you're isolated, start offering help.
Yeah.
Be there for people, show up for people, cheer them on. And then when you feel comfortable, you can start asking for help.
Right.
And don't be afraid of it, because like this is how we build our lives together.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a perfect story of kind of like Still Kitty, because when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. And I reached out to certain people, like, who do I reach out to kind of questions.
Right.
But I worked on 8 shows in 9 months, which was crazy. But I did it all myself.
Yep.
I promoted everything. I did all the math. I did everything myself. And it wasn't until I took that hiatus that I really realized that 8 shows in 9 months is absolutely insane. And what the hell was I thinking? But I was starting to see that there were people in my life that I could trust with this. And so the first show that I did after my hiatus was my 40th birthday party. And I got you involved with that. Mm-hmm. To the point where... And also, I remember...
Picking out
decorations.
Who's going to be on the list? Who's playing the music?
Yeah.
That was fun.
And then you hosted it for me so I could actually enjoy my birthday party. Which was amazing. But I remember... like you said, just hop in and help kind of thing.
I love that, hop in and help.
Yeah. Well, I remember I think it was my second show. I had broken my foot.
Yep.
And it was at Mr. Small's in the main theater. And I'm in a wheelchair. And I'm just like directing people from a wheelchair, trying to figure out how I'm going to get up onto the main stage to host. And Crystal comes in and she's just like, all right, I got you. And just hopped up and hosted for me. And I think that was part of like, that was really part of us really starting to become friends and things like that. But
yeah, the trust. It's like, and for me, like, I've led worship for like the Unity Church, which is non-denominational. You could be any faith. Like, I got to sing at like Sunny Hill. Like, being up in front of people
You're good at that.
I love doing the emceeing. I've gotten
Yeah.
to do that for like festivals and big trade shows, and for me, like everybody has that skill set that it's like when it's your moment, you just like jump in.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and
we can all do that.
And I think you know, with you jumping in and then seeing how my show was important to you. My birthday, actually, it was her fault that I had a 40th birthday party. She's like, "What are we doing?
What are we doing? We
Like,
gotta do something." I love birthdays.
Like she texted our stylist Stephanie, episode 3. Episode 3. Yeah, she's like, "What are we doing for Deb's birthday?" Like, you know, and so yeah, but seeing how you handled that, it allowed me to open up a little bit more and trust a little bit more. And you killed it, and you gave me the most perfect birthday gift ever. Like, I enjoyed my birthday. And then, you know, things happened, and COVID hit, and, you know, this idea that you gave me 3 or 4 years ago kind of hit me in the face again, saying, "Hey, you need to do a podcast, you need to do a vlog or something." And I knew who to ask. I didn't know him that well. We were acquaintances, but there was something in me knew to ask Wesley. And I texted him at midnight on a Friday. "Hey, I have this idea. I can't pay you. You want to do it?" And his question or his statement was, "Tell me more." I mean, that's what it was. Tell me more. And
tell me more. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, and so like over the years, I've learned to kind of just trust, like build a team. I trust Wesley. I trust you. I trust Liz Berlin. Like these are, you know, I trust Joanna Lowe. These are people that I trust and I know who have my back. And so because I know that, you know, you guys are the ones that I'm trying to bring to the table. Like Wesley already knows that, but you have to. You can't do it all on your own.
No,
you just can't.
I don't know where I put my cup, but I have something. This is a really good way to remember it. So in this talk I gave recently about asking for help, we have like these like kind of TED Talk kind of workshops that we do sometimes, or I do. Not we, but I have this Wonder Woman hoodie.
Okay.
And underneath of the hoodie, I have this T-shirt. It has puppies on it, and it says, "Empowering others makes us stronger." So I was sitting in front of the camera, and I had a little under 100 women who were attending this workshop, and I was like, "Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me take this off." I was like, because this Wonder Woman persona, I mean, you can see I have all kinds of merch because that's what everybody would give me as a gift. They were just like, "Oh yeah, she's Wonder Woman. She could do it all." We have to kind of transform that persona. Yeah. Because I don't want to do everything by myself. I don't want to constantly be saving the world. So when somebody does ask you something, this is really important too, especially because the track record on paper is that when women are asked to do something, they typically will just do it without thinking. So instead of Wonder Woman, be like, "Wonder why? Why are you doing this? Why are you agreeing to this? Is this someone that you care about? Is what they're telling you also important to you?
Is this going to further what you want to do? Is this going to be beneficial?
Is this bringing you satisfaction and joy? And when you do things for other people that also make you happy, like your life is improved.
Oh, absolutely.
You're creating. That's creative energy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference between creating and working. Like when you're working, it's like, okay, I'm trading my time, my talent, my energy for something of value to me.
Absolutely.
But like when you're creating, you are bringing something into the world that did not exist and could not exist without you.
Absolutely. 100%. Well, I think that is a good ending point. Like that is words of wisdom that everyone should know. And so I just want to thank you so much for being a guest here on the Cats Meow. like I said, you are one of the biggest driving forces behind Still Kitty Productions. My dear friend that I just love and adore. So we're going to put up information over here. This is going to be Crystal's information. We're going to, go hit the likes and listen to all the things, and because you just have to. And then,
the new
and
single.
then I'm down. Okay, yeah. And then here's going to be all my information. So if you want to be courageous and live your life courageously, and want to be a part of this and want to be interviewed, please reach out to me at either stillkittyproductions@gmail.com or on the Facebook Still Kitty Productions. You can just message me there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting new people and bringing you guys on the ride. So if you're interested, hit me up. So yeah, I just want to say that I think we're going to have This Life is going to be recorded today, finished up today or whatever.
Yep, we're going to get your backing vocals today.
And so the goal, hopefully, is that we're going to send you or put a link on at the end of this so that you can listen to Crystal Morgan's recorded version of This Life.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Oh,
yeah.
Hi, Wesley. There's Wesley. Crystal had us up super early, and we totally didn't remember that it was daylight savings.
You didn't remember it was daylight savings?
So we're a little tired, but I love you, and we will catch you next time. Thanks so much.